What's going on with Telcoin right now? You've got this chart showing a clear falling trend for most of the day, price dipping hard into the red, sell signals flashing left and right on the indicators, and yet somehow the price is up over 11% in the last 24 hours, sitting around $0.001617. Some people are already calling it undervalued, talking about the real world utility and the banking charter like it's the next big thing. But is this a genuine opportunity or just another crypto trap waiting to swallow retail traders who buy the bounce? If you're new here, do me a favor right now, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment telling me what you think about Telcoin. Is it undervalued or a value trap? I want to hear your take. Compulsory comment, no skipping. Alright, let's talk about what Telcoin actually is. Telcoin is a blockchain project focused on mobile-first financial services, especially remittances and digital banking for people who mainly use their phones. They partner with mobile network operators so you can send money across borders cheaply and quickly through mobile wallets, targeting the huge global remittance market where traditional players still charge high fees and take days. The TEL token powers the ecosystem. It's used for gas fees on their network, staking, liquidity, and governance. They've got a regulated digital asset bank in Nebraska, the first of its kind in the US, and they've launched on-chain bank accounts tied to their EUSD stablecoin. Circulating supply is about 96 billion out of 100 billion total, market cap around 155 million, ranking somewhere around 136. Holders are just over 100,000. That's the setup. Why is it in focus now? Because after sitting in a downtrend, we just saw this sharp recovery today, volume jumping over 100%, and the narrative around their banking progress and telecom partnerships is heating up again. Looking at the chart from the last 24 hours, it was ugly for a while. Price was grinding lower from around 0.001457, dipping into that red zone, testing lower levels near 0.0014. Then around midday, it flipped hard, big green candle, volume spike, and it pushed up towards 0.00165 before settling around 0.00161. Short term, that looks like strength, a bounce off support. But zoom out, and the broader trend has been weaker. Longer term moving averages are still overhead acting as resistance. Momentum indicators have been mixed, some showing oversold readings that supported the bounce, others still leaning bearish on the higher time frames. Key support sits around that recent low near 0.0014, maybe a bit lower if it breaks. Resistance is right overhead around 0.00165 to 0.0017, and then higher levels that haven't been tested in a while. Short term, it showed some strength today, but the overall structure still has that lower high, lower low feel from previous weeks. It's the kind of move that gets people excited, but it doesn't erase the larger downtrend yet. A lot of the technical models and signal sites have been leaning negative or neutral at best. You'll see sell or strong sell leanings on some of the aggregated indicators, especially when looking at the longer moving averages and MACD. Short-term outlook from many of those tools is cautious, hold or accumulate at best after today's bounce, but not a clean buy signal across the board. The short-term recovery is real, volume is up, but the bigger picture still has negative pressure. Analysts in the crypto space don't throw formal buy/hold/sell ratings the same way stock analysts do, but the general sentiment from technical screens has been more on the sell or neutral side until this recent pop. So, is Telcoin truly undervalued, or is this a classic value trap? On one side, the bulls point to the real utility: a regulated US digital asset bank, on-chain accounts, partnerships with telecoms, a live remittance product that undercuts traditional fees, and a token that actually has gas and staking utility on their own network. Market cap under 200 million for something with that infrastructure feels cheap if they can scale transaction volume. The supply is mostly circulating already, so no massive unlock cliffs hanging over it. On the other side, the bears say look at the price history. It's down over 97% from the all-time high of about 6.5 cents back in 2021. Adoption has been slow. Remittance volume isn't moving the needle enough yet to justify a re-rating. Competition in stablecoins and cross-border payments is brutal. And in crypto, undervalued with real utility has been the story for a lot of projects that just keep grinding lower while the market ignores them. It can look cheap for a long time and stay cheap. That's the trap. Retail sees the narrative, buys the dip or the bounce, and then watches it bleed for months while the bigger narrative fails to catch fire. Risks are real here. Volatility is high. Today's 11% move is normal for this coin. Liquidity isn't deep, so big moves can happen fast in both directions. If Bitcoin or the broader market rolls over, Telcoin will likely follow hard. Regulatory risk is always there, even with their charter. Rules change. Execution risk is big. They need actual usage, real remittance volume, and sustained demand for TEL as gas and for staking. Retail traders often get trapped exactly like this. They see a green day after a downtrend, pile in thinking the bottom is in, then the next leg lower starts and they're sitting on bags. High circulating supply means it takes serious capital to push the price meaningfully higher, and the chart still has plenty of room to retest those lower supports if the bounce fails. Bull case looks like this. The bounce holds, price clears that 0.00165 to 0.0017 resistance with volume, broader market cooperates, and we start hearing more about actual banking adoption or new telecom corridors. Then a move toward previous ranges becomes possible, maybe 2 cents or higher over time if the utility narrative sticks and volume scales. Best case recovery would be a sustained uptrend as the network and bank products gain traction. Bear case is simpler and more common in this market. The bounce fades, price slips back under 0.0015, then tests 0.0014 and lower. Continued lower highs, fading volume, and the market just moves on to the next shiny narrative. Worst case is a grind lower toward previous cycle lows while the team keeps building but the token doesn't reflect it. Short term, this is a bounce inside a larger downtrend. It can extend a bit if momentum continues, but it needs to clear resistance and hold higher lows to change the structure. Long term, it depends entirely on whether the regulated banking and mobile remittance vision actually delivers meaningful usage. If it does, the current market cap could look cheap in hindsight. If it doesn't, this stays a low cap utility token that struggles for attention. None of this is financial advice. Crypto is extremely risky. You can lose everything. Do your own research, manage your risk, and never put in money you can't afford to lose. I'm just walking through the chart, the project, and the debate. So where does that leave us? We've got a coin with real infrastructure and a regulated bank charter sitting near multi-month lows after a sharp bounce, while the technicals still lean cautious and the broader trend remains under pressure. Is this the quiet accumulation phase before the utility story finally pays off, or just another dead cat bounce in a long decline? What do you think happens next for Telcoin? Does the bounce hold and push higher, or do we see another leg down? Let me know in the comments.